What's going on, guys? This video is going to be quite a bit different than my normal videos. I'm actually going to be responding to Boogard's video that he put out a couple of days ago called something to the effect of how Tekken 8's Season 2 changes break the game, or how the top tiers break the game. I'm going to link the video in the description as well as timestamps for the clips I'm going to pull. But I mainly wanted to respond to this because it kind of highlights a core issue that I have with a lot of the criticism that goes around with Tekken. Now, to be clear, I generally agree with basically the entire video except when he's talking about Anna. I think that his analysis is usually pretty spot on, and I generally think he's very smart about the game. However, there are a couple of things that I want to go over on the video because I don't think that his analysis of Anna's strengths and weaknesses is fair. And I think that listening to those strengths and weaknesses is going to result in nerfs that just don't make that much sense. So, let's get into it. The first clip that we're going to show is where Boogard talks about her tracking. At 7 minutes and 46 seconds, Boogard says this about Anna's tracking.
I've heard some Anna players actually say that she struggles with sidesteps, and I'm honestly dumbfounded by this. She has 1+2, an incredibly quick homing mid that is plus on block. On hit, it can go into stance, and it wall splats on counter hits. She also has back 2-2, a super fast homing high string that jails. You cannot duck the second hit. Why? We have back 4, a safe homing mid that wall splats, and on regular hit gives her 11 frames of advantage into stance, forcing a casino guessing situation. She does not struggle with homing.
Alright, so this could be a semantics thing, and I'll be the first one to admit that this might be a non-issue. But when I think of a character with good tracking, I think of a character who doesn't need to use homing moves in order to lock you down. If a character has to use homing moves to lock you down, that's actually bad for them, because then it becomes very obvious what the counterplay to what they're doing is, right? So, let's say that Anna has to use 4-4-2 to hit you after a certain move, otherwise you can't, you can just get away from it. That's indicative of her tracking being an issue. If she has to use her 1+2, that's indicative that her tracking is an issue, right? So, well, what do I mean by that? Well, by 4-4-2, you can see that a lot of these buttons are just not hitting, right? And these are a lot of her key buttons. Now, her lows will hit, which is pretty good. Wine opener is a launch, but that does hit. It is a risky move that she can use, but it does hit. Her down back 2 whiffs, her up forward 2 whiffs. These are key neutral tools. Her 3+4 hits, but that's -16, so it's not the best. Forward 3+4 whiffs. Again, you don't really see that move a ton, but that does whiff. Up 4 or up back 1 3 whiffs. This is a lot of stuff that's whiffing on +4. To the point where if Anna wants to track you after this, she needs to use this low, right? So you can sidestep right duck, and then what does Anna do about it? If you sidestep right duck, you also evade a wine opener, that's -15. Most characters are going to be able to launch that. It doesn't strike me as a character with very strong tracking. Let's look at her hammer chance things. You evade the 1, you evade the 2, you evade the 1+2, you don't evade the 3 because it's homing, and you don't evade the 4 because the second hit is basically, and you evade the grab. That doesn't look like a character with very strong tracking when you can walk most of the options, right? And then, let's look at her full crouch mix. Typically, you sidewalk her full crouch mix to the left. So the wall standing 1's going to hit you, which is bad, because, that's a very strong move. Wall standing 2 whiffs, full crouch down forward 2 whiffs, and her heat engager whiffs. These are her 3 strongest options by far. Her armor whiffs, her 3+4 whiffs, her wall standing 3 whiffs, and you will get tagged by her wall standing 4 sometimes, but even here it's whiffing, right? So this doesn't seem like a character with strong tracking. That didn't look like very good tracking. Now, I do think that there are arguments to say that 4-4-2 is too much range. I think that's valid. I think that you could say that back 4 has too much range. Totally valid. I think you could also say that this maybe shouldn't realign so that more characters can step it. Because there are characters that can't step that. I believe Lily and Alyssa can, and maybe Zafina. So I think those are valid, that her homing moves have too much range or have too many frames. I think you make this +2, maybe this is -11 to -12, depending on range. I think those are all valid. But to say that she has good tracking is just not true. I think I've demonstrated that pretty clearly. Let me show you what good tracking looks like. So now we're here with Law. This is a character who I think has very good tracking, and we're going to explain why. Law is a character whose weak side is typically to his right. So if you are going to sidewalk, you're going to sidewalk right. The issue with Law is that he has a lot of mids that track his weak side. So this forward 1/1+2, this is a counter hit launcher that's +3 on block. So, you know, this is a very good pressure. So you do this, you know, his down forward 1's going to whiff, his jabs are whiffing, hop kick whiffs. He has a couple of other things that whiff here, but it's not like that many things. His back 1-2 whiffs, so that's good stuff. Yeah, so a couple of moves are whiffing. Oh, his 3+4 whiffs, up 3+4, or up forward through 3+4. Cool. The issue is that a second forward 1+2 is, again, I already showed you what this button does, plus on block, counter and launcher. So a second one of these whips, his safe down forward 2 is going to hit you when you step to his weak side. Nunchuck is going to hit you. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal, except when he's in heat, it's a safe normal hit launcher. Down back 3 hits you, and sidestep 3 hits you. Sidestep 3 is +7 on hit files. That looks pretty good. And both of those lows are -13. So, you know, you're not taking out the colossal moves. Now, you can step a couple of these moves. So, you can step this to the left. So, you know, that's good. You can step the down forward 2 to the left. You can step Nunchuck to the left. The issue is that now his pokes are hitting you, where his jabs, his down forward 1s are hitting. Not only that, so you do step the down back 3 sometimes, not all the time. So you can't really step this if Law is pressing on immediate timing. Sidestep 3 also hits, which again is +7. This is a character with exceptionally strong tracking. Sidestepping Law feels really bad, because it feels like no matter which way you go, you're just kind of choosing what you get hit by. You're not like option selecting 80% of his kit. You're evading like 40% of his kit. Now you can sidestep duck, that's pretty good. You can sidestep block, that's pretty good, because it's hard for him to launch you if you sidestep duck, because the down forward 2, it's not going to launch crouch. But this is what a character with good tracking looks like. Notice I didn't use a single homing move, and a Law can very easily lock you down with these lows. Like, you can't do a whole lot to get out of it. This is a character with strong tracking. Did Anna's tracking look anything like that? Her tracking looked pretty abysmal compared to Law's. Because it is. Just because she has good homing buttons doesn't mean that her tracking is good. It means that her homing buttons are probably a little bit overtuned. So, if we want to say we can nerf her homing buttons, I think that's valid. But nerfing her tracking in general seems a little excessive. Not that many things are even hitting in the first place if you know which way you're supposed to side. Next clip I'm going to show is going to talk about Anna's punishment. So let me play that. Yes.
No, she doesn't have bad homing, and no, she doesn't have bad punishments. A character who can go into stance for mix-ups from a 10-frame Punisher, can use her Heat Smash for a 13-frame 50 damage punish from standing or crouching, get a Heat Engager at -14, and launch at -15, does not have weak punishments. You cannot make that argument to me. She is 1 frame slower than average to launch lows, but come on. Does this look like weak punishment to you?
So, Boogard claims that Anna actually has very strong punishment because she can launch on 15, and she has a 10 frame that goes into stance, and then her while standing punishment is pretty good. So, to be clear, I do think her while standing punishment is very good, but we're just going to go over her punishment so you guys can see it. I have it so Jin isn't blocking here. So on 10, she has 2-3. This is +8, 24 damage. It's good stuff. The issue with this, by the way, is that her 2, this is probably the worst range jab in the game. Asuka's might be a little bit worse. This is almost certainly, without a doubt, the worst range jab in the entire game. That's concerning, because this isn't a punish if something is like -10 and Anna's right here, right? If they're not right in your face, this is whiffing and you can get blown up for it. Doesn't seem like a very good punish to me. She doesn't have an 11 frame punish. She doesn't have a 12 frame punish. On 13, she has back to 2, which is a high. This is fine. The range is a little stubby. I would like this to be a little bit longer personally. Well, assuming we, would want her to have good punishment, then it should have a little bit better range. But her having bad punishment is part of her identity, in my opinion. So, like, this not having the best range, I think is totally fine. Now, her heat smash, this is a 13 frame punish. You can use it from standing, you can use it from crouch. This is a good button. I'm not going to act like it's not a good button. Also, high crushes, so you can call out highs with it. The issue is that, Boogard's talking about how Anna's heat is so broken, how there's no counterplay. If there's no counterplay, you just have to sit here and block the entire game. When's she ever going to punish you? Right? Like, if she's just going to press the entire time, and it's her turn the entire time that she's in heat, like, unless you get a hard read on something, I don't ever know when she's actually punishing you. So, this being 13 frame startup doesn't really sound like a 13 frame punish to me, unless you get situations like this, where you counter hit 2 jabbing into this. So that's something that can maybe happen, but when's it gonna happen? So, okay, we talked about her 10, we talked about her 13, nothing on 11 and 12. Notice none of these wall splat, by the way. Now on 14, she has 3+4. This is good. It is a heat engager, heat dash launcher. Her heat dash combos are actually pretty strong. So, it's a heat dash launcher. It's good stuff. She also has a forward 2-3 if she wants a wall splat. She has a very high damaging wall combo. So, that is a very good 14 frame punch, especially if they're backs against the wall. And on 15, she has down forward 2. Her down forward 2's range is a little stubby, which again, we would expect, but okay, that is her standing punishment. She does also have very good whiff punishment. So if you whiff full screen, then she gets this. You do need a dash in, but she gets that, so that's really good. If you whiff kind of close to her, she gets this. Despite being an instant tornado, this is an exceptionally high damage. 81 damage for an instant tornado is pretty absurd. So, yeah. And then you also have this if you whiff, and she wants to do that. So, her whiff punishment is very, very good. But her standing punishment is pretty bad. I'm not going to say it's the worst in the game, because it's nothing like that. Her standing punishment has issues. Range being the biggest thing, and not being able to wall spot until 14 frames is the biggest thing. Her wall standing punishment is good. She can't launch until 16, but she has wall standing 3, +8 in the stance. It's good stuff. That is her 11 frame. She doesn't have a 12. On 13, she has wall standing 1-2, +9 in the stance. You have to hold a mix up. On 14, she has wall standing 3, 4+4. Again, she can launch you from heat if you do a -4, 14 low. That's good stuff. And on 16, we have wall standing 2. So, cool. Her wall standing punishment is pretty good, but I think it's fair to say that her standing punishment is not that great. Let me show you a character with a good standing punishment. So now I'm here with Lydia. Most people don't even think about Lydia when it comes to things like punishment. Normally people think about is her broken heat 50-50. Lydia has arguably the best punishment in the entire game. She can't launch on 14 standing or crouching, but trust me, this punishment is pretty nuts. So, on 10 frame standing, she has 1-2-2. This is +8 on hit. It's 1 less damage than Anna's, and her jab has more range, meaningfully more range. It is not that great of a jab. This is more range than Anna's, and it gives a stance mix. Seems pretty good. It's also 1 less damage. Now, to Lydia's defense, or to Anna's defense, this is launch punishable. This is basically a Mishima flash punch, but if you're using it as a punish, that doesn't matter, right? On 11, she has 2-2. This is an 11 frame wall splat. That also goes into stance. On 12, she has forward 2-4. This is a wall splat. Pretty good. She doesn't really have a 13 frame punish, but on 14, she has Blue Spark Political Storm, which is 43 damage. 63 if you heat dash. And on 15, she has a hop kick, and she has 3-2. It's good stuff. You know, this is arguably the best punishment in the entire game. You can wall splat on 11. You have a wall splatting 12 frame. You can heat engage on 14. You can launch on 15. Really, really good stuff. Let's look at her wall standing punishment. Wall standing 4-2 is 25 damage plus 8. This is strictly better than Anna's, not including the quality of their stances. That's not really the point, but plus 8, 25 damage, that's great. On 12, she can heat engage. And she can heat dash for 42. Not the best heat dash, but she can heat engage on minus 12. If she blocks most lows in the game, she gets a heat engage. That's really good. On 13, she has wall standing 1-2, plus 11 into stance. That's massive. On 14, she has wall standing 3, which gives this 46 damage. Wall splats. So really, really, really good wall standing punish. And she also has wall standing 2 to launch minus 15. This is a character with pretty incredible punishment. I would say that Lydia is almost certainly like top 5 punishment in the game. There are a couple of characters that come to mind, like Armor King, Fakamram, Mishima's, depending on your execution. But Lydia's punishment is crazy. And we're supposed to believe that Anna's punishment is actually also really good. You guys tell me, would you rather have Lydia's punishment or Anna's punishment? I don't think it's close. This is going to be more of a nitpick, but this is another clip that I'm going to grab at 8 minutes and 37 seconds. Let's just play it and see what he says.
Even if you want to ignore the chip damage we mentioned, the string extensions alone just serve to power up her best moves, like her signature low launcher, which now has infinite range and does even more damage.
Okay, so Boogard is completely correct when he says that the heat extension for this low has an infinity range. So I think you can hit it from like back. Yeah, that's like range 5. So that's really good. So the issue, of course, which I'm sure that you noticed, 1, the second hit is 27 frames, meaning you have 47 frames to react to this. 2, the second hit is still minus 21. You have 47 frames to react to this low from full screen. If you're unable to react to that, you just need to lab this. It's a skill issue. I'm sorry. Like, no flame to anyone who's having a hard time with this string. She's using it full screen. You need to be ducking this. Lab it so you can recognize the animation. Alright, and that is going to just about wrap it up for this video. Again, I don't want any harassment going towards Boogard, because the reality is that this video isn't even really about him, just he's the person who talked about the thing that I don't like that people do. So, you know, again, my apologies if any harassment does end up going his way. That's not what I want. I've said it already, I think Boogard is very intelligent about this game. And for the rest of the video, everything he said about all the other characters, I generally agree with. Again, I don't usually have problems with his takes. The issue is that if we're going to complain about our characters, or if we're going to complain about the characters in the game, it's very important that our complaints are accurate. I showed you what good tracking and what good punishment looks like. Anna's punishment looks way worse than Lydia's. Her tracking looks way worse than the laws. Undeniably so. Like, there isn't even an argument. If you had to build your own character and you could pick Anna's punishment or Lydia's punishment, you're picking Lydia's 100 out of 100 times. It's not even close. The same thing is true about Law. So, when we say that a character like Anna has no weaknesses, then we also say, look how good her punishment is, look how good her tracking is. That tells Namco, who we know that they listen to the community when they do nerfs, which, you know, whether or not they should do that is a different story. We know that they listen, so when you tell them, look how strong this character is, they have no weaknesses, look how good her punishment is, look how good her tracking is, what do you think's gonna happen? They're probably gonna nerf it. And if we're gonna nerf this character, I don't think her tracking, outside of the Hammer Chance 4, I think nerfing the tracking on that is fine. I don't think her tracking or her punishment is the issue. The issue is the mix-up utility. You know how you nerf that? No more crouch canceling out of a Hammer Chance. Forced transition on block, on the back 4, up 4, 2, and down back 4. That makes this character bottom 10 instantly. We already saw how bad her tracking is. We see how weak her standing punishment is. Now her mix-up utility is basically gutted, so she has to play ultra high risk every time she does basically anything. That makes this character so much worse. She's still going to steal games because, you know, she has a launching unreactable 50-50 from full crouch, and her stance on block, or, you know, if she's hitting you with a lot of these moves, it's not a good scenario. This low is +7 on hit. That's an obnoxious situation to be in. She's still going to have good mix-up utility, and she's still, you know, if she does the blender right, then you're still going to get blown up. But those two nerfs right there, forced transitions and no crouch canceling on a Hammer Chance, make this character way worse. Bottom 10 might be an exaggeration, but she has a lot of weaknesses already. This is not a perfect character. Asuka, who I have on the other side of the screen, this is a perfect character. Asuka has some of the best defensive utility in the game. She has a launching punch parry, a launching kick parry, a launching low parry. If she doesn't want to take a risk on what type of move you're going to use, she has a mid-high parry. She also has Can-Can, one of the best counter hit launchers in the entire game. She also has a back 3 super evasive launcher that's very hard to punish. And on top of that, for some reason, because we complain that her offense is bad, she has the best 50-50 in the entire game. While running 1+2 is a +11 on block normal hit launcher. By the way, this can be mixed with forward 1+2. This is a +2 on block mid normal hit launcher. This is what we get when we complain that, oh, her defense is bad or her offense is bad. Yeah, it's supposed to be. There's nothing wrong with that. If we want to complain about Anna, that's valid. Are really good complaints to have about this character. Her tracking and her punishment are not things worth complaining about. That's what it is. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. I don't know how many of these types of videos I'm going to make. I usually don't get annoyed when I watch other people's content. So these types of videos are probably going to be pretty rare. But hopefully this shows that, one, Anna's tracking is pretty bad. So if you're struggling with Anna, you now have seen some of the counterplay. And two, her punishment is not that good, especially when you compare it to characters with very good punishment. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.